Okay, so I did email you guys a few files. So you can see there's a paper test I sent that comes from the College Board website, and you might recognize these questions if you've done the Blue Book app. Um, that's okay if you do, but we're just gonna go through them. Then there's a couple of other ones. This one right here is nice. It goes over strategies. We'll talk about that for sure today because that's important. And also talks about how to use Desmos, which is good because we're going to be using Desmos a lot. So Dan, as I mentioned before you joined the call, make sure you have Desmos open because we're going to use that quite a bit today. This other one I made is called challenging questions. These are like more advanced algebra questions that I feel a little kind of tricky. Now it comes from this book called Prep Pros. Um, I wanted to purchase this book a while ago, and it does have my name as a watermark. So I ask that you don't share this with other people. I mean, it's not like I'm gonna get in trouble or anything because I'm not supposed to share this, but I trust you guys won't um turn me in or you know share it to many people. But anyway, that's if you're curious, there's an electronic watermark there, but it's all good. I don't care. I'm not gonna pay for each person. That's just dumb. And then you have the answer keys also for these. Um, and this has all the answers for all those chapters. Um, anyhow, let's go over practice test number one. And I just want to just kind of go through those questions in the first module, just so you guys have an idea of what some of the basic or foundational questions look like. Um, okay, here we go. So you get 35 minutes for each module, and there's 22 questions. So you get roughly more, actually, you get more than a minute and a half per question, which is nice. I don't think you need that for the first module. I think definitely think you do for the second module, or some questions might even take more than a minute and a half. But anything that you can do quickly and using Desmos is advantageous because you do need to buy yourself time for other questions. Now you are given a reference sheet, and it's actually next to each question on the Blue Book app. If you just click on there's a little like on the top right, I think there's a thing where you click reference and it drops down these formulas. So you don't have to memorize any geometry formulas. It's all provided for you, just so you know. In case you forget, like, oh, like how many radians in a full circle, 2 pi, full circle 360. They might ask like some trig questions that involve radians or degrees, but it's very light on the trig. Obviously all the angles are trying up to 180, things like that. Um, anyhow, now this one I don't think is a very accurate test because it has, I think, more than 22 questions. Yeah, you're not going to have this many questions, but it's still good for us to go over. And so again, there's something going to be very, very basic. Like, for example, what's 10% of 470? Like, you're going to do 0.1 times 470. Not that hard. That, right? Or number two, 4x plus 6 equals 18. Okay, subtract 6 divide 4. The answer is 3. They don't have 3 as an answer, but which one is equivalent to it? Well, it would be C, of course. But notice they put D as a trap, right? Because 4x is not equal to 3, right? Because the next would be 3/4. It's got to be C. So you got to be careful, right? Because the College Board will put some trap choices. That's an easy one, right? Or, sometimes you have some words you have to, take a little time to process. Like, okay, here's a boat, sorry, a surfboard. You got to pay $25 flat fee and then $10 per hour. And you rent for T hours and you tend to spend $75. Cool. Okay. So if you take away the 25 from 75, that's $50 left. Divide by 10. Um, or actually I should set it up. That's kind of dumb. Um, Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. So we should set it up. So yeah, it'd be D. There we go. But you want 5 to equal 7, to be the t value. Um, here's another one. So g of x, remember they love function notation. There's gonna be a lot of functions on this test. It's just y, and that's just y. See where they touch. Or set them equal to each other and solve for x. Which if you look at the choices, 4 would make sense because 16 plus 9 is 25. You can also graph in Desmos too, but I don't think that's really worth a while. I think some are just real easy to do algebraically. I mean, if you wanted to, you could. Yeah, it's really touch. See, there you go. Not that hard, right? But to go through that trouble, I don't know if that's really necessary. Sometimes it is necessary, and we'll see that. You might see some stuff on probability. What's the probability of rolling a 2? And it's a 14-sided die. The 1 through 14. 1 out of 14. So it's A. Don't overthink it. A printer produces posters at a constant rate of 42 per minute. So how many does in 1 hour? So just 60 minutes in an hour. So there you go. Whatever that is. And that's a free response question. So you actually would have to use a calculator, which is why it's important to have the calculator nearby. I mean, yes, you can use Desmos, but I think to constantly pull out the Desmos app can take some time. I just have my calculator like at 2520. So that's a lot of the foundational questions. But I think now we'll kind of have you guys try some, and I'll kind of steer you in the right direction. And we'll just go in the chat after this. And I think I want to challenge you guys a little bit because I don't want to bore you guys with simple questions. Let's take a look at 7. So again, y equals 7x plus 2. What does y equal when x equals 4? For response, you have to type in the number. Just put it in the chat when you got it. We're going to do 7 times 4 plus 2. Maybe I want to double check your answers, guys. I think you guys put 2 in for x. We want to put 4 in for x. Yeah, should be 30. Yeah. Be careful there. Some of you guys put 16. So if it's 7 times 2 plus 2, sure, right, 100% correct. But remember, x is 4. So yeah, just be careful there. Here they want us to make an equation with a situation. So for number 8, okay, so you're creating a sum worth 70 points. One question is worth 1 point, other question is worth 3 points each. X represents the number of 1-point questions. Y represents the number of 3-point questions. So which equation would represent the situation here? Yeah, so you want to do 1 times x. And then every 3-point question is, of course, worth 3 points. And you get 70, right? You get D as a dog. Okay, cool. Good. Let's keep moving. Okay, a little bit of geometry, not too hard. Strongly recommend you draw to LMN. They say L corresponds to M. So L and M correspond to P and Q. Okay, so I'll put L and M here. I'll make n my right angle. If it's similar, okay, that's a terrible looking. So angle M is 53. This is 53. That's 37. That's 37. Okay. So it's pretty obvious Q is going to be 53, right? Because it said L and M correspond to P and Q respectively. Hope that makes sense. Here, it's pretty easy to solve. You can use Desmos if you want. But I could just substitute too.
Can you use Desmos on the SAT?
100%. Yeah.
You can?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. And so what you could do for this problem is you could just have done this. Y equals 3x and 4x plus y equals, it was y equals negative 3x, I think. Here we go. Wait, crap. Was it 3x? Hold on. No, it was. That's right. Yeah. And there you go. So it's x is 15. And y is negative 45. So 100% totally can do it. That's up to you. Yeah, 4x plus y. Yep. Again, you could use Desmos again, but if you think about it, just draw a line through those dots. Is the slope positive or negative? Is the y-intercept positive or negative? So what choice do you guys like for this one? Yeah, clears the negative slope, clears the positive y-intercept. So it's B, right? So these are early wins. It was good. Okay, these are still good. We're gonna still stick with this because I still think there's some worthwhile problems. Um, obviously want to keep challenging guys. Um, okay. Remember, f of x is y. You even said so, right? We want y to be 0. So if here's y-axis, y is 0 when it crosses the x-axis. So these are x-intercepts. So how many x-intercepts do I have here? Yeah, pretty easy, right? A little different. And all this jazz here, who cares? Why does it matter? Just answer the question. Okay, 14. You could factor it. Actually, is that factorable? It is factorable. Um, or you just plug in Desmos and just play z with x. And if you type in the way it looks, you're looking for x-intercepts. So go and try that. And you only have to give one of the solutions. You don't have to give both. And you can provide a negative answer. That's totally fine. Yeah, 12 works. You get x. Actually, no, 12 would not work. Because you get x plus 12, x minus 2. So x is negative 12, or x is 2. So yeah, you have to be careful about that. So be careful about that.
To find the solution on Desmos, do you just write the equation and then look for
Yeah,
that?
I'll show you right now. Yep, here's what you do. So let's go and type that in. So x squared. And by the way, if you want to do squared, if you hit shift 6, that will do a superscript. So shift 6 will do that for you. You hit the right key to bring it down. Plus 10x minus 24 equals 0. Let's zoom out. There you go. 2 or negative 12. Yep. Straight up gives you the answer. So yes, now we're starting to see the power of Desmos, but trust me, it gets even more powerful. There's gonna be some really cool things we'll see today. Um, so 13 is making an equation. Party hats and cupcakes, there's 2 unknowns. Each patch of party hats. Let's say party hats are X and cupcakes are Y. The 3X plus Y equals 71. You bought 10 party hats. I think that's pretty obvious. The answer is 41. So yeah, I that's where just I think just kind of work it out. Um, kind of more of a what's the right word to use? Mechanical algebra problem that makes sense. Like just making sure you're cool with your algebra. They want to know which expression is equivalent to this. So you're gonna have to find a common factor and pull it out. Let's do that for number 16. Be careful here with your exponents. Um, so definitely have a 6 in common. They have x squared in common and y squared in common. But remember, x squared times x6 is x8. What's x squared times x4, guys? That's x6. You don't want to say d because if we put it back in, it would actually be x6. You're confusing it with this. If you x squared raised to the 4 power, then of course that's x8, but we're not doing that at all, right? So you remember when you're multiplying 2 powers in the same base, you add the exponents. But if you raise a power to another power, then of course you multiply the exponents. But that's not the case here. That's why it's C. So make sure we're comfortable with that.
I have a quick question.
Oh yeah, far away. Mhm.
So C has, I thought you like added the same,
Exponents.
yeah, like x10, y4, but I don't.
That's hold on. So sorry. What choice are you looking at?
Oh, I was looking at like C.
Yes. So C's good. So C's what we want because what's going to happen is that when you multiply 6x squared, y squared with x6,
Mhm.
the x squared and x6 become x8, which is what we need.
Oh, okay.
And then of course you have y squared because y squared is on its own.
Yeah.
So it's y as its base.
Um,
The x and y we can't combine because they're different bases.
okay.
Right, when the bases are different, we can't do anything about it. Let's look at 15 up. That one requires a bit of being methodical, if that makes sense. So they give you all these rates. There's 300,000 cells per milliliter during initial observation. The number of cells per milliliter doubles every 3 hours. How many cells per milliliter? That's the unit, so don't worry about that. Will there be 15 hours after the initial observation? Okay. So you double every 3 hours. So how many times am I doubling then? It's 15 hours. 5 times, yes. So you gotta multiply by 2 to the fifth power. And where that is, you should get D. Okay. Oh, okay, we're getting some good ones now. Really good ones. I was just gonna take a quick scan here. Yeah, I think we'll finish off this section. I kind of like this. This is good. Um, yeah, I like this. And then I'm going to show you some other strategy type problems before we start module together. Okay, 17 is interesting. Go and take your time and read it. It's tricky, but it's a very common question. So take your time, read it. I'll give you guys about a minute or so to kind of process and put your answers. So all three of you picked B. I believe, let me read it carefully again. Um, I believe the answer is going to be A. Let me pull up the answer, just double check. Pretty close. That's good. I'll explain. Yeah, it's A. Okay, so here's what's happening. Um, X corresponds to the park. Y corresponds to the residential area. How do I know that? Because 2 is going next to X. 35 is going next to Y. So now 2 hectares, that's a unit we use for area, whatever, right? Um, so let's say we have 10 parks in our neighborhood. Okay. And each park is 2 hectares. Let's say an acre. I don't know. It's just that just seems weird to me. I don't know. But anyway, you get the point, right? So that's total of 20 acres, right? You gotta multiply these together. So the 2 represents the area of each park. X is the number of parks. Or sorry, the number of trees per park. My apologies. This is number of trees. My apologies. I meant to say trees.
Wait, where'd you get 10 from?
I made it up.
No.
I just made it up, which is just a hypothetical scenario. And actually, there's only one park in the neighborhood. So that was kind of dumb, actually. So sorry if I thoroughly confused you guys. There's only one park in the neighborhood. Let me take it back. There's one park in the neighborhood. Let's say the park has 10 trees. Okay, here we go. Okay, this is a little tricky because they say per hectare. So okay, let me do this one more time. I apologize. I'm really screwing this one up royally. Okay, I got snow. Here's the park. Actually, no, so I go to park like this all the time. Okay. We'll say this is 1 acre, and that's another acre. And let's say these are trees. Okay. So it's a whole 20 trees. And I have 10 trees per acre. So that's what 2x represents. Okay. So, but x itself will be the number of trees in each acre or hectare, whatever that is. And then 35y would be the y would be the number of trees per hectare in the residential area. Anyway, that's why it's a. So the total number of trees, that's 3934. The residential area, no, that'd be 35y. And that's y itself would be. Okay, let's move on. We'll do more problems like that. That I know it's a little tricky. Okay, 18, you want to pick the right equation for the graph. So, oh, actually, this is a great opportunity to use Desmos. Okay, this is pretty simple because if you think about it, um, you know the y-intercept 0,40. So you can plug in 0 for x and 40 for y to see which one works, and plug in 60 for x and 0 for y to see which one works as well. If you do that, if you go to each choice and substitute 0 for x and 40 for y, and 60 for x and 0 for y, you should get B as the answer. However, there's a way you could do this in the calculator that could be pretty nifty. Um, sorry, in Desmos, that could be pretty nifty. And I'm going to show you more opportunities when the opportunity presents itself. So here's how you can use Desmos to actually plot points and get the equation that passes those 2 points. So really simple. Type in the point, use a comma to separate the next one, hit label, and notice it's going to labels for us, right? So now what I do, see that little whatever you call that, that little washer or wrench, whatever that, well, the wrench is actually over here, but whatever this is called, that little dial, hit the table, makes tail for you. Then what you can do is hit the regression line. It draws a line and gives you equation line right there. Now it gives you a line in slope intercept form. So it's not quite the way it's written in the choices, but you have the equation. Um, and it looks like that's -2/3 x. So if you were to rearrange it, you would get B as your answer ultimately. I still think it was easier to do algebraically, but I wanted to show you that opportunity where you could plot points, have an equation that passes those 2 points, and then have Desmos give you that equation for you. And then if you have to do something with that line, like let's say they said, oh, that line has to intersect like y equals 20. Great. Then you could find point of intersection there. I did a question like that with a student earlier today. So that's just another opportunity for Desmos that some of you may not be aware of. The slider is going to be a big one, though. We'll go over the sliders in a moment where you have constants and you have to solve for stuff. But that's a good one to consider. Okay, let's keep moving. Actually, I'm going to skip around a little bit. Actually, let's do number 21. Let's do this in Desmos, actually. So I want you guys to go to Desmos. I want you to type this in. Um, actually, no. Actually, yeah. Yeah, let's actually let me do this with you guys. I'll do it with you guys. I want you guys to follow along. I don't want you because it might be hard for you guys to go solo just yet. Um, here's what we're gonna do again. So I'm gonna type in those points to 2 comma 4, 2 comma 14, label it, and let me zoom in a tad. Okay. Does that make sense? All right, type those in. All right. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna type in the equation x minus 2 raised to the second power plus y minus 9 raised to the second power equals r raised to the second power. Okay. I don't know what r is. So this is add slider. You can make r whatever you want. Now, is that circle touching those 2 points? No. Let's slide it. So you're going to make r bigger, right? Tell me when you think I've hit it. Probably now, right? What's my r value? 5. That's your answer. Now, what does that represent? That represents the radius. And if they told you those are the endpoints, I think you would know that the distance between 14 and 4 is 10. That's the diameter, obviously. And if you guys, maybe you guys have learned. If you're not, that's the equation of a circle, which actually maybe it gives to you on the test. Actually, they do not. It's interesting. Okay, so that is not given to you. But I mean, it's a transformation in many ways. Because you have H and K. So that's the center. So being the origin, it moves 2 right and 9 up. And R squares the radius. But you could also just use Desmos. That's a great opportunity to use Desmos there. And see how that slider works. And I move the slider until it passes those 2 points. And I plot those points also by just plugging into ordered pairs. So that's another opportunity we could do that. Okay, let's go back again. Let's skip around a little bit. Let's do this. Ooh, this is a good one. This is weird. So talking about Desmos. All right, this is a good one. I like this. Okay, what I want you guys to do is go to Desmos. I think you guys can handle this. I want you to type in this. And I want you to click on label. And then I want you to click on that little thing there and make a table. And if someone could give me the equation after you do that. So I want to make sure you guys can do it on your own. So go ahead and do that. Type in those word pairs. Click on label. Click on that little washer or whatever thingy. Um, when you click table, it'll give you the equation. And actually, you might need to also click on regression. It'll look like this. Yeah, I think after you click on table, you have to click on regression. If someone can tell me the equation, if someone got the equation, or if you guys are stuck, I can help you if you're stuck.
I got 6x plus 22.
Y equals 6x plus 22. Okay. And let me just double check that. Yep. Okay. And just to show you how that's done again, in case if you're still a little stuck, it's okay. So again, thank you, Colin, for sharing that. 130. So again, just tap it up. And again, I'm recording this so you have this to watch. And we can review this one more time when we do have our Rule 101 before the test. So you have that. And I'm just going to zoom out just a tad so I can see what's going on. Sweet. There's definitely lines going to pass through that. Then click on that. Click on the table. And then once I do that, I'm going to click on this and it gives me my equation. Okay, great. 6x plus 22. In case if anyone's taking stats, R squared just means a correlation. The correlation is obviously perfect because it passes through, so don't worry about that. But anyway, they say that you translate the line down 5 units. So actually, you're going to be graphing 6x plus 17, right? Because y-intercept 22, you got to go 5 units down. And you want the x-intercept. So that's what I'm going to graph. I'm going to graph 6x minus 22. Sorry, 6x plus 17. That's the red line. Oh, geez, I can't believe I did that. That's silly. Plus 17, there we go. Actually, how did I do a subscript? Hold on. How did I even do that in the first place? 6x. Hold on. Ah, shift underscore. I learned something new today. When I'm doing like logs of bases, I always have to kind of like click the keyboard here. Okay, wow, that's just saving me so much time. All right, anyway, that's negative 2.83. And you want to pick one that comes close to that, which is going to be, I think, D. If you do that, if you use your calculator, negative 17 over 6 is negative 2.833 repeating. So that's a great opportunity to use Desmos. So let Desmos be your friend and guide you through that process. Now, how would you do without Desmos? Well, you find the slope between these points. You're told it's linear. Actually, you're not told it's linear. I think you know that you were told that. But 30 over 5 is 6 plus b. Then you have to find the y-intercept, so you can plug in like 130 for y, 18 for x, work it out, whatever that is, which is 22. And then you have to shift to 5 units down. So your new equation is that. Then you got to set 0 to y and solve for x. And again, you can do all that work, which is totally fine. I mean, as a math teacher, I love seeing that work. But let's use the technology to help us, right? The technology is wonderful. Again, we're using technology one more time here. That's a parabola. By the way, is this probably going to open up or down?
Down, I think.
Down, right. And what's y-intercept going to be? Where's it crossing the y-axis?
Isn't it 100?
Negative 100, yes, good. So it's going to be kind of like this, rough. I don't know. Something like that. So they say that there's a line, y equals c. Now, if y equals just a number, how would that line look? Would it be slanted? Would it be flat? Would it be vertical? What do we expect? If y just equals a number. Is it horizontal or vertical? Horizontal, exactly. And by the way, if it's a horizontal, there are 3 things that could happen. It could touch the parabola twice. It could miss the parabola, or it could just graze the parabola. How many times do we want the line to touch a parabola? Once. So we want to graze it. Where do you think it's going to be touching the graph? What is that called? When it's at high point. The vertex, yes. Now, Can you find the vertex by hand? Sure. I'm sure you guys have learned that in school. I teach that to my students, right? I teach algebra 2. And there's ways you could do that. You could factor, you could do completing the square, you could there's a formula called negative b over 2a. Some people forget that. But why? Why do that to yourself? What are we going to do instead? What's the easiest way to find that vertex? That's at our fingertips. Desmos. Plot that. Tell me the vertex. And when we get the vertex, please type it into the chat. Good. So you get 4.5, comma negative 79.75.
Would I put it into my Desmos and like it just nothing showed up?
Okay. How about this? Do you mind sharing your screen with me?
Oh, I'm doing it on my phone. But
Oh, okay. Okay, show me your phone. Okay, put it up to the camera then. Okay. And then show me the graph itself. You just lower it. Okay. You might need no worries. You might need to pinch it a little bit. Keep or go down, maybe.
oh, you're right. Never mind.
Yeah. So just be a little more persistent with moving the window around a little bit. And then you can click on that vertex, right? So yeah, totally, 100%. And so let me go back to sharing my screen again. Yeah, so we got negative 79.75, which I think is going to be C. That's what that is. So because you want that Y value, because that's where it's going to touch it, right? It's going to touch it at that Y value. So again, we had negative or hold on, what was it again? Was 4.5 comma? Yeah, 4 point. So actually I had it in the wrong location. It's in the fourth quadrant. Yeah. So okay. So you guys are getting the idea of how to use Desmos. Now there's still this other packet that talks about strategies from that company I told you and had my name as an electronic watermark. We can get into that a little later because I think it's 9 o'clock. I think now we should really move on to a module and then take a break afterwards. And we're gonna kind of go round robin again. Where I'm gonna have you guys tell me your answers. But actually, I really kind of want to try 26 here. Actually, let's skip that for now. Hold on, there's another one I try. Give me a sec. Um, Actually, not quite what I want to do. Let me do this. I'm gonna pull one of my other materials here. Here we go. Here we go. This is perfect. So let's look at number 19. You have a system of equations. 11x minus 24 equals 8. Kx minus 36y equals 5. In the system of equations above, k is a constant. If the system has no solution, what is the value of k? All right. Well, what you could do is just go to Desmos. Should I toggle back and forth? 11x minus 24. Y equals 8. Kx minus 36y equals 5. Okay. You add a slider. Right now, those lines are touching, right? So there's a solution. You want no solution. It means you don't want them touching. So notice I'm moving that slider. Let's see, it's a bit limited right now. So if you just click on there, you can always change that to whatever range you want. Like let's say let's go up to 50. Okay, so now they look like they're gonna be parallel. Let me zoom in. It's hard to get spot on. It looks like that's gonna be it. Obviously it's not a multiple choice question. So it's a little unfortunate. But you could always, graph the equation, like we could change it to 60 and see if they're parallel. They would be because they'd have the same slope if you go ISO to Y. But this gives you an idea of how to get the answer. So that's another great tool to use Desmos. And actually another one I want to look at too, number 16. Here's a word problem. An office supply store sells paper clips in packs of 100 or 250. They're A4 packs total and 12,300 paper clips total. How many paper clips will a customer buy if he buys half of the packs of 250? So we want to make equations here. Let's say X is number 100 and Y is number 250. So X is number of 100 packs, Y is number 250 packs. And then 100X plus 250Y. Just use Desmos to solve it, right? Oh, geez, what did I just do? Okay, you have to zoom out so you can see what's happening here. Okay. I do have a very nice mouse. It makes it easy for you to scroll, but see 15 and 26. So that's how you use Desmos. You make the equations, let Desmos do the magic for you. You don't have to solve any system equations by hand. Please don't do that. That's a waste of time. Let Desmos do the work for you. And then you have 26 250 packs. You're buying half of them. So it's 13 times 250. Whatever that is. Yep, you get 3250. It's a good P. Okay, so I think we're ready to start our module. So let me pull this up here, and then we'll do a break afterwards. Let me pull up the Blue Book app. Give me 1 second here. Give me a sec here. Okay, I think we're ready to go here. And again, we're gonna go round robin here. We're gonna skip the verbal for now. Here we go. Perfect. Okay. All right. So still in order. Danny, what do you think about number one?
Oh, it's just 27.
Yep. Easy peasy. Good. All right. Okay. Next. So statistics. We haven't talked too much about statistics. So Colin, I got you here. So you have two data sets, as you see right there. That we want you to compare the means, which is the average. So you could technically add them all up and divide by the number of numbers. But if you think logically about this, it should be pretty straightforward. What do you think about two?
Is it B?
Yes, and why say that?
Because it has the extra 27.
Exactly, right. It makes the average bigger. Exactly, right. Because everything else is the same except for that new number they've added. Correct. Good. Yeah, so you don't need to waste your time find the average. Okay. Oh, so something kind of similar to this. So Wyatt, I got you here. So you got two similar triangles, meaning the corresponding angles are all the same. We tell that Q is 18 degrees. Then we figure out what angle P is, and then S and T are going to be the same, or the same corresponding. So what do you think angle S is going to equal? Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, good. You guys are off to a great start. Okay, back to you, Danny. All right, so read this carefully here. You definitely need a calculator for this one. You can just without calculator be incredibly impressed. So you start with this much. This is what you start with.
Um,
This is what you lose,
that's I might have to use a calculator for this one.
and that's what remains.
Minus 362. I got 4,995.
Okay, cool. Let me double check the math in a sec here. Yeah, sounds right to me. Perfect, good. Yeah, again, don't overthink them, right? So you did great. All right. Back to you, Colin. So again, you could use Desmos if you want. Or you can solve for X pretty easily and substitute. Totally up to you. So we'll need to get X and Y and then add them up. And the rest of you guys can try too. So it's not just Colin. I mean, obviously, I want everyone to participate. Some I might have you guys all try if I feel it's gonna be a tough question.
Wait, what does it mean? The value of X plus Y?
What does X plus Y equal after you solve for X and Y separately?
Oh, okay. Would it be D?
Well, what do you get for X?
I got 5.
And what do you get for Y?
Y got negative
Careful.
15. I got 8.
Okay. So you want to add them up.
Oh yeah, 13. I just
13.
yeah, I don't know.
There you go. Gotcha. Okay. No worries. Just want to be, you gotta be careful. And most likely you guys will probably have some time to spare at the end because these are more basic questions. So you should always go back afterwards when you're done. Okay, then we're down to you, Wyatt. Okay. So I also got to type in an answer. Go ahead and take some time to read this, Wyatt. Tell me what you think about 6. Okay. What do you think of Wyatt?
Must be 1.5
Not quite. So
times.
you're dividing. So it's good. You're comparing. I like that. But you want to take the difference instead. And what's the difference between those coefficients?
5.
Exactly. That's what we want. Because they didn't say how many times more, but how many more. So it's good that you saw that 10 is the number of hours for a on-site training because you have 10x. So let's say you got like 2 courses, that's 20 hours, right? Because 10 times x. And then 15y, 15 would be the number of hours for each online training course. So the difference would be 5. Yeah, so we'll put 5 for that one. Okay. Let's make sure I put answers for the other one so far. Yeah, okay, let's move on to 7. Okay, back to you, Danny.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna want to draw. So square a side length of 12. And the perimeter square y is 2 times that, so you got to double them. So I think it's pretty obvious now. What's the answer if you double on each side?
24.
24, right? There you go. Right, yeah. Okay. So Colin, okay.
A.
Yeah, because that's the slope, right? Because 12.1 represents how much you have initially. That's the full tank of gas, and you're losing as you're driving, right? Because gas is getting depleted or consumed. Actually, better ways to think of it. Yeah, perfect. Good, got it. Okay. So Wyatt, what you could do here is you could use Desmos. What you could do is you could do y equals abs 4x minus 4. And also y equals 112. And find where they intersect. So if you could type that in, tell me where they intersect, please.
Twenty-nine, 12.
29, 12.
No,
Oh, sorry,
12.
that's right. So let me just double check. That's that correct? 29 times 4. Yeah, good. Okay. So then yeah, if x is 29, then obviously x minus 1 is 28. So good. Perfect. Yeah, and if you wanted to, you could do it by hand. Like you could easily just say, well, 4x minus 4. But you also have to consider its negative counterpart too, just to be on the safe side. But they want the positive value, not the negative value. So we don't do negative counterpart, so we don't need to worry about that. Good. You guys doing great so far. Okay. So back to you, Danny. So do you want us to get x by itself? So what would be my first step algebraically if I want to get x by itself here?
I think you'd have to multiply the y.
Yeah, and multiply the 7b as well.
So 7b times y, and then divide y from
Yes. Whatever's next to x.
and then
And then we just pick the answer, which is C.
oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's all. Yep. So they say in terms of just means they want you to isolate a letter. That's all. Okay, back to you, Colin. So they want the slope, obviously. So that should be pretty straightforward. What would the slope be here be?
Uh, 11.
Good. Yes. All right, and then Wyatt, they just want us to combine like terms and give us the coefficient of x cubed. So what would that be?
Yeah.
9. Perfect. Good. Yep. Using 5 minus negative 9 out of 4. Okay, good. Okay, let's look at 13. Which one could be the value of x? Let's see here. Okay, so back to you, Danny. So what I would do is yeah, just plug in you could use Desmos, but I think just do 4x plus 53 is less than 18. And let's solve for x.
So it's minus. Um,
Which of these 4 choices would satisfy that inequality?
yeah, I think I did this wrong. I solved it as like a regular.
Equation, sure. We should get do you get negative 35 over 4?
I got, yeah, negative 35.
Okay, but remember x is less than that because we do have the inequality, and so that's like negative 8 point something, I think.
Oh, you're right. Okay, yeah, that's.
So which of the 4 choices will be less than that number? Negative 9, right? Exactly. Okay, Colin. Oh, we just saw this one. We know the answer, Steve. I'm gonna give you another one. Yeesh, that's gonna be hard. I'll do this one with you guys because it's gonna be too hard to kind of minimize. So they say here, they want the best interpretation of the y-intercept. So it's clearly touching at 9, but y represents number of catalogs in the thousands. Sent to customers at the end of the year. X represents the number of years since 1992. So it means it's gonna be a number of catalogs in 1992. And it's gonna be 9,000. So we just interpret it. Like we saw that earlier with the parks and the trees, but that was a little challenging. This is something a little more straightforward. Okay. Actually, I want all you guys to try this one. Why don't you put this in the chat for number 16? Remember, we're using our properties of exponents. And whenever you have a root radical, it's going to be like this. Yeah, it should be B. Yeah, you get 9 sevens. That's because that's the 1/7 power, right? And then multiply by 9. So good. Okay. We're definitely gonna finish within a good amount of time, so we'll take a break very soon. The population of city A increased by 7% from 2015 to 2016. The population, if the 2016 population is K times the 2015 population, what is the value of K? Careful with this one. I'm gonna have you guys type in the answers, see what you guys say. So you're doing a 7% increase, but you want to know what the value of K has to be. Good, C. Yeah, it's gonna be 1.07. So some people will put A as an answer. But if you increase by 7%, let's say the population is 100 people, right? So clear is 107 people in 2016. But if you multiply 100 by 0.07, you're gonna have 7 people. So you've lost 93 people. Either they died or they moved away or whatever, right? What you really want to do is you want to multiply by 1.07. Because in essence, exponential growth is really this. Your initial value, 1 plus your rate, raised to the t power, or whatever number of years. But R is going to be your percent growth or decline if you are losing people. But of course, we're gaining people. So it's 1 plus 0.07. Which is 1.07, which is C. You can use Desmos if you want, but hopefully you can see conceptually what's happening here. So you want two lines that never touch. What do you guys think? Oh, what do you guys think? Good. See, yeah, it's gonna be C for that one. Because the first one's gonna be two perpendicular lines. X equals 3, y equals 5. These have the different slopes, and that's a horizontal line and a slanted line. That's not gonna work, but totally C. Yes. Okay, this is exponential modeling. I'm gonna let you guys go and pick. So I put the answer in the chat. So if the first term is 9, the next term will be 36, then 144. Lose my head, 576. So you're multiplying by 4 every time. So sometimes it helps to write out the numbers and then pick the equation that matches that. And n is the number of terms. So when n equals 1, we should get 9. When n equals 2, we should get this, and so forth. Hopefully, I think we should be getting a D. Yeah, D, good. Yeah, because you do get 9 when you plug in 1. Good, good, excellent. Good, you guys are doing great. Let's keep moving here. Okay. Again, see, a lot of interpretation, you have to read this carefully. The minimum value, so actually it's kind of confusing. Actually, it's gonna be greater than or equal to. Because it means that it's gonna be higher than this expression. So 12 less than 6 times. Some people do 12 minus 6n, which kind of doesn't make sense though, because what if this was like 100? What's 12 less than 100? Would you do 12 minus 100 or 100 minus 12? Right? You do 100 minus 12 if you're doing 12 less. But I'm doing 12 less than 6 times n. And I gotta be at least that much. So I have to be greater than or equal to it. So you have to interpret that correctly, and that's why it's B. Okay, you're gonna want to draw. So first of all, it's the right triangle. Which side's gonna be my hypotenuse? PR, exactly, because it's the biggest side. So I'll do that. Okay, didn't quite do the scale, so let me I mean, it doesn't really matter, but there, that's a little more scale, right? And of course, we want to be similar, so we want another triangle. So it's going to alphabetical order. So U, V, W. You want the tangent of angle W. Well, if you think about it, you just want sides that are proportional. You could have done the same side lengths, doesn't really matter. And tangent, SOHCAHTOA. So what am I comparing if I do tangent?
Opposite and adjacent.
Right. And again, how do I come up with these numbers? I just found sides were proportional. I divide each by 2. But I could have done the same sides. Doesn't really matter because it's all proportional. So you get 10/24. We do TOA. So 10/24, which is 5/12. Yeah. So you get B. And you can see we're doing much better time compared to yesterday. All right. So you want to translate this 4 units down. So you probably want to do is you can graph this in Desmos to find the y-intercept, but it might be kind of tough to get the new equation because you need the slope also. So I'm going to suggest that we do is isolate y. And then subtract 4 from the y-intercept. And then find the new x-intercept.
Is this an everyone question or is it like a one person?
Anyone can.
I think I did it wrong, but I got like 1 or 2.11 for the.
I think it's right. Let's do this really quickly. So if I get y by itself, I should get 0.9x minus 1.9. If I take 4 away from my y-intercept to cause that shift to 4 down, my equation will be y equals 0.9x minus 5.9. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to graph it in Desmos. I think what you found is you found the initial x-intercept. Yeah, you found the initial x-intercept. But then we got to take away 4. And now it's 6.55 repeating. And that's your new answer. So, okay, cool. Well, good. Okay. So we put that down. That's 6.55. And you do have to give at least, I think. Yeah, it says right here. You have to round to at least 3 decimal places. Or rounding at the 4th digit. Yeah, you can't round it too soon. Okay. Cool. Well, let's take a break right now. So it's I'm gonna leave this up because I don't want to lose time from next module. So it's 9:33. Let's come back around like 9:47-ish. Just try to be back by 9:45 if we can. But then we'll do is we'll I'll at least kind of like get the next module started. So some questions are answered. But anyway, yeah, so let's come back in 15 minutes. I'll see you guys soon. Okay, so obviously some time has passed, but we'll speed things up. So for number 1, I'll kind of go guess. I'm gonna skip around a little bit. Well, actually, no, I don't need to skip around. So I assume we're gonna see some hard questions. So there are 55 students in the Spanish club. A sample of the Spanish club members selected at random asked whether they intend to enroll in the study program. Of those surveyed, 20% respond that they intend to enroll. Based on the survey, which of the following is best estimate of the total number of Spanish who intend to enroll? Obviously 11. So that's pretty easy. You got 20% of 55. Here, it takes a machine 10 minutes to make a large box or 5 minutes to make a small box. X is large box, you do 10x. Y small box, 5y. So 10x plus 5y. Again, pretty straightforward. Again, I'm going to do a lot of these for us until we get to the harder ones. So I'll be going a little fast here. Line best fit. Clearly the y-intercept's a little less than 14. And then you have a negative slope. So I'm probably gonna go with B on that one. That makes sense. They've kind of reversed it a little bit, but whatever, it's fine. Okay, this is where we can use Desmos again. So y equals 4 is right here. But notice it's kind of hard to tell, right? Like it's between 3 and 4. Is it 3.5? Is it 3 point something? And they give some numbers that are pretty close together. So that's not really wise to eyeball it because all these are actually between 3 and 4, all these numbers here, if you were to punch in a calculator. So what I would do is go to Desmos, right? This is a great opportunity to use Desmos. So we saw that there was a y-intercept at 0, 7 and an x-intercept at 8, 0. So that's what I'm going to do. 0, 7, 8, 0. And then I'm going to hit that little thing there, do a table, make the line. There's my line, right? Okay. But then if I do y equals 4, because I want to see where they touch, 3.42857. So now, going back to the Blue Book app, it's definitely not A because that's 3.5. We got 3.42857, right? If I check out the other ones here, 26 over 7, 3.714, 0.4 over 7, bingo, I got it. 27 over 8, no, 3.375. So it's got to be C. So this is where I'm using the technology to help me get the answer and be accurate and be efficient as well. Okay. So what you could do here, let's try Desmos again. I'm kind of curious, actually. If I were to punch these in, we might be able to do a quadratic model. I don't know. Let's find out. I'm always learning here. So -1, 10. Do a 14. Okay, so obviously I don't want a line. You could change that to a quadratic function. I'm totally can do that. There's the answer. It just gives it to you. Boom. Is that lovely? It does it for you. This is so amazing. So yeah, you could plug in like 0 to each choice, which gives you 14. All of them do. You plug in 1, which gives you 20. The first one does still. And the second one, not the third one. You put in -1, which gives you 10, which I think only D would. So you could do that also. But yeah, let Desmos do it for you. It's awesome. And you could choose any kind of modeling you want. You can do exponential modeling if you want. I mean, some really weird stuff too. Okay. I'm gonna have you guys try this one. So give my voice a little break here. We'll settle down so I'm getting so excited with these problems here. So 10 equals x plus 15 over 5. Solve for x. Okay. Hope you guys get 35. Yep, good. Let's keep moving. Okay. This is going back to geometry, probably like freshman year when we guys did geometry, or maybe sophomore year. So you're comparing x and y, those are clearly the same, right? So let's solve for k. Once you solve for k, then we can get what angle y equals. And y plus z have to have to 180. That's because they're on the same side of the interior of the parallel lines. Hopefully get 21 for k, I think. Get 2k equals 42. K is 21. You get 139, I think, for y. Use a calculator. I could be wrong. So z should be, I think, 41. Yeah. So that's just plain geometry. What we could do is we could go to Desmos again. I mean, it's actually pretty easy. I just do this by hand, to be honest with you. Divide by 2. So if the slope is -9, what's the perpendicular slope, guys?
1/9.
1/9. Yeah, got it. Yep. It's a negative reciprocal. Yep. Okay. Okay, you have a cube here. Each side is 0.9. Okay, density is mass per volume. You even say kilograms per. So we got to find the volume first. And it's a cube, so all the sides are the same. Okay, so go and solve for the mass. Yeah, it sounds about right. I figured 588.9 raised to the third power times 807. Good, 588. And it's not spot on, but it's close enough because you want your whole number. Good. Yeah, because you find the volume, which is 0.9 raised to the third power, which is 0.721, and then multiply it to 807, you should get A. Okay, now we're number 10. Okay, we've got to move a little faster here. So they say that this is a predicted increase n% every 18 months. So it's a little tricky, but this right here, this exponent, is the same thing as saying t over 6/4 or t over 1.5, which is 18 months, 1.5 years. So it's increasing 4% a year. You have 1.04 there. So don't let that 18 months throw you off. The 4 over 6 is part of it. Like, for example, if you're doubling every 2 years, you do t over 2, right? Or half-life, you guys remember that. Maybe, you dealt with those kind of problems before. But anyhow, yeah, so the 18 months is right built into the 4/6. So you divide by 6/4, so it's 1.5 years. And then you have 1.04 there, so it's just a 4% increase. Okay. This would be a great opportunity to use Desmos again. So 2kx minus 2n. Actually, I think we could avoid using Desmos. If you want no solution, you want the x's to go away. You just get 2 random numbers on each side. So actually, we could avoid using Desmos in this case. I mean, you could let y equal this, but then we have an extra letter n to work with, so I don't know if I want to do that necessarily. But these have to be the same. And if you multiply both sides by 1/2, you get negative 14 or 15. Because again, that would guarantee no solution when all the variables go away.
Wait,
Does that make sense?
Could you explain that one a little more early?
Yeah, let me go Desmos actually. That might be better. Let's graph the right side. So I'm rushing it. I apologize. So what was it? Negative 28/15. Oh, geez. Okay, so you have a line here, right? Now you want no line that's parallel because you want no solution. And it said n's bigger than 1. Let's say n is 2. I'll make up a number. Let's say n is 2. But k, I don't know, right? Because we got to figure it out. So y equals negative 2 kx minus 2. Or sorry, but you have to shoot the 2. Actually, let me put the parentheses back. Go on. 2 kx minus 2. Here we go. Okay. So now let's change the slider until they're parallel. But see, notice it's not quite doing what I want, right? Oh, actually, never mind. It is doing what I want. I'll go this way. So it looks like it's going to be negative 0.9. Yeah, no, they do touch. So it's hard to get it accurately. You can see how I'm kind of struggling here now because but I know somewhere between those numbers. But then what I realized I need the same slope, right? So that's why it kind of helps me a little bit. That I need that to happen. Does that make sense? Why those have to be the same? Yeah, and then I can solve okay because negative 415 is a really weird decimal, so the slider's not going to really be that helpful, unfortunately. Okay, let's keep moving. Oh, we just did that. Jeez. Next. Okay. Go ahead and read this one to yourselves. I'll give you guys about a minute, and then we'll talk about the answer after this one. So the first thing you want to do is you want to do 7 times 2.9 to get the retail price. Then you 8% off, which I think is 16.1 something. Yeah, 16.24. And then you guys subtract that from 20.3 because it's off. Yeah, you get 4.06. Or you can multiply by 0.2 because it's 20% remaining. That's another way to look at it too. So it's good he said 16.24. I'm glad you guys said that, but it's 8% off. You got to remove that from 20.3. So you're on the right track. Just one more step. You got to say 4.06 because it's not 80% of the retail price, 8% off. So you got to figure out what the 8% is and then remove that. Does that make sense? We'll have to remove it. Yeah. Okay. Let's keep moving. Okay. Now we're back to Desmos again. All right. So this is a parabola, right? A parabola can cross the x-axis twice, once, or never. We want never. There's no real solutions. So our parabola does this. But you want it when it just happens, right? Because you want the least possible value of n, where c is bigger than n. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to Desmos. X squared minus 34x plus c. We'll add the slider. So right now, how many times am I touching the x-axis? Twice, right? Let's slide it. Okay, that didn't help. Why am I doing that? Hold on. So I need to expand this. Let's go like maybe a thousands. Okay. So see, I'm like getting closer. And I'll need to change the step. Let's go maybe 300ths. Let's make it 1. Yeah, it looks like it'll be 289. Because obviously then it's off. Yeah, so that's supposed to be 289. That would get 289 would touch once. Once we're above 289, we're not touching. Now, one way you could do this algebraically is you could do quad form, and the part underneath quad form, you can look at b squared minus 4ac.
Wait, so doesn't 289 not work because it has a solution?
Right, but you want the c's to be bigger than
Oh,
a's.
yeah, okay.
Right. That's why. No, good question. Great question. Just keep moving. This is an example of weighted average. Data set A consists of 75 buildings, has mean 32. Data set B consists of 50 buildings, mean 62. Data set C has all 125. So to find the new mean, you simply do 75 times 32 to get what all the heights are for the first set. 50 times 62 get all the heights for the second set. And divide by 125. That's what you want to do. If you do that correctly, you should get I believe 44. So that's a weighted average. What you want to do is you want to find what all the heights are for the first set, all the heights for the second set, and then divide the whole thing. Okay, here's another good example of how we can use Desmos. Now, here's I don't want to rush this because I feel bad that I'm rushing it. So we're gonna run out of time. That's okay. We'll go back and review, and we'll do the question we don't get to, so you guys can still see how they work. So before we do that, let me go backwards and kind of just make sure we're understanding everything we've done so far. That's my fault because I got a little delayed there. So we obviously won't get a perfect score. That's okay. That's fine. We're still gonna have those hard problems. So number one made sense. Yeah, 55 students, 20% enroll. I did 20% of 55. I got 11. You cool with that? And let me know if you have questions. 10 minutes make a large box, 5 minutes make a small box, X large box, Y small box, 10X plus 5Y 700. We have about 14 is our y-intercept, slope is negative. B. We used remember Desmos? We plotted 0, 7, 8, 0. We found the equation line that passes through it. And then I graphed a y equals 4 to see where it touches at 4. And I thought it was like 3.4 something. So I got C. We used Desmos again. We put those coordinates, negative 1, 10, 0, 14, 1, 20. Instead of doing a linear regression, we did quadratic regression. Again, we made a table. We did a scatter plot or did a regression fit. And we found we could switch it to quadratic and got the equation, which was lovely. We solved out. You guys did that just fine. We set these equal to each other because they're opposite of each other. And once we solve for k, we figure out what angle y was. And then, but y and z have to add to 180 because they're on the same side of parallel lines. And then we solve for z afterwards. Here we just got y by itself and found the slope and then did a negative reciprocal. Here we did mass over volume, find the volume, and solve for the mass. This was a little tricky, but 4/6t. It's really like saying t divided by 6/4, which is the same thing because you flip the fraction. Well, 6/4 is 1.5. 18 months is 1.5 years, of course, right? And you're only applying this percentage once you hit 1.5 years. So once t is 1.5, the exponent becomes 1. And that's when we can use the full percentage. And if it's 1.04, that means you're doing a 4% increase because 1 plus r, where r is 0.04, which translates to 4%. This one, we won no solution. So in order to get no solution, I had to distribute or actually I graphed the equation first, the right side, graph the left side, move the slider. I made up a value for n because n's bigger than 1, like n is 2 or whatever. And I got close, but it was kind of hard to tell. But I recognized that, oh, I need the slopes to be the same. So 2k has to equal negative 20 or 15 to solve for k. This one you guys were close. Just gotta make sure you do 8% off. So take 8% away from the retail price. This one we use a slider, and you want to no solution. You want no x-intercepts, and we got to 289 where it's touching it. So that means that anything above 289 would cause that to happen. That's what 289 is the value then. Here we did weighted average. 75 times 32, 50 times 62. So you found out what all the it's kind of like on Amazon when you look at the ratings, like how many people gave us something 5 stars or 4 stars. You want the average rating, that's what you do. You do like number of people that gave it 5 stars, number of people give it 4 stars, and so forth, and divide by all the people. It's the same thing. 75 times 32 plus 50 times 62 and divide by 125. Okay, we have a minute left here, so we'll come back to this, but we're not gonna be able to answer this because I don't want to rush it. But we're gonna use Desmos to help us out here. That's gonna be another Desmos problem. That's more statistics. We'll talk about that. That's gonna be because Desmos a little bit more conceptual. That's definitely a Desmos problem. That's definitely a Desmos problem. That's crazy. We'll do that later. I think that's gonna be a Desmos problem also. So we'll submit right now. We'll come back to these. So say we can get these answers, fine. So be it. I think this will come out to mid 600s. Okay. But we lost time because we started a little later. So let's explain these. But we'll get to it. So I'll show you how to tackle these. This is what's going to take your score to that next level. And then whatever time we have left at the end, we'll obviously do a little extra practice. See here. Oh, okay. Not bad. 710. That's pretty good. Obviously, we did do on the reading and writing because we didn't answer any questions. Yeah, you can see that we were perfect otherwise. Yeah. So this is the importance of being hot in the beginning, right? To really, kind of calm down your nerves and really make sure you double check your work. Because it's going to really put you at a high level. Even if I missed 8, if you get to the last 8, you still get a great score, right? So you can see that the importance of starting off hot. Now, I had one student, she actually got perfect on the second section, but she missed half of the first, and she got a 510, I think. Because you're already at a low level, so you have to kind of dig yourself out of a hole. And even if you're perfect on the second section, because the question is super easy, right? So you can see how it's adaptive. So now what we're gonna do, I'm gonna hide the answers. We're gonna go through these. We're gonna take our time and not rush. Okay. So this expression, 4x squared plus bx minus 45, can be rewritten as that. Okay. Where those are integers, which of one must be an integer? Okay. So here's what we're gonna do. I want you guys to go to Desmos. I want you to use a slider for B. And tell me what you get for your actually just type it in first. I'll tell you how to slide it. Just go and type it in Desmos. I'm gonna do it too. Okay, right now, I'm touching the x-axis, right? It's pretty clear, Anna. Now look at what is written here. Hx plus k and x plus j. Okay. So if I think about it, this has to be probably 4x, right? But I don't know what to put for k. And I don't know what to put for j. Okay, so it's a little confusing. But what does k times j have to multiply to? You guys want to do what k times j has to multiply to?
Negative 45.
Yeah, -45, exactly, yes. And didn't it say k and j are integers? Right? Okay. So I could use my slider here. I mean, it's hard to tell. But give me some examples of what so it's hard to tell what b should be, right? So I'm not gonna worry about that just yet. I mean, I'll keep it at 1 here, I suppose. But now I'm gonna type this in. Y equals 4x plus. Now give me two numbers that multiply -45. Any two numbers that multiply -45.
5 and 7.
Perfect. Oh, well, 5 and 9.
5 and 9. My bad.
Yours. I'll do x minus 9. Okay. So obviously I get a different parabola here, right? So I will need to slide this so it kind of lines up. So let me expand this just a little bit. Let's say I go -50 and 50. Okay, looks like I have it lined up now. Okay, cool. So now that I have them lined up, I know what B is, which makes sense if I FOIL it, I get that. So B is -31. My H. So I didn't necessarily have to use decimals, but it kind of just helped me make sense of the problem. K is I guess 5 here. J is -9. And I want to know which of the following is an integer, meaning like a whole number. If I do BH, my H is 4. Nope. B over K, that's not going to work either. 45 over H, that's not going to work. 45 over K, my K is 5. Bingo. And I get the answer D. So what I did was I graphed the original expression, which fine, I didn't know what to do with it. Then I look at the other one and said, okay, well, I had to make sense that H had to be 4 because you have 4x squared. So I had to do a little conceptual knowledge of foiling. And then also KJ had to equal -45, but you guys made sense of that. May have a couple numbers because they're integers. And H was an integer also, right? And then graph that expression. And then I had to get them to match up because they're the same. Use a slider. And then I recognize that, okay, now I know what's H, K, and J. Cool. Now I can make sense of this. And then I figured what B was, right? By foiling or using the slider. So that's a good example. Okay, here's where I want you guys to use Desmos. You want one solution, right? So go ahead and go to Desmos, graph this, and graph this. and use a slider for A. And you basically have a parabola, right? Actually, look probably more like this. And you want a line that just grades this. And your goal is to figure out what A is going to be as a result. So let's go and give it a try. And tell me what you get for A once you move the slider around. Okay, I have two answers. I have 14.5, I have 17.5. Let's see here. Let's try this out. So it was dude, now I forgot the equation again. X squared plus 8x, sorry, negative 1.5. Y equals x squared plus 8x plus A. Okay. Add the slider. Okay, obviously I need to change. So just hit that. You could change it to like say 50. Yeah, I don't know why there's a slider next to that one, but that's all right. We want just to raise it. Yeah, 14.5. We'll just graze it. Yep, good. Hope that makes sense. That's what you want to do. So again, Desmos is really handy there. Let's see, let's go back again. Okay. Oh, and actually, I didn't realize I could have just used the Desmos app up there, but that's fine. Okay, let's keep moving. So here you have a dot plot. They say data set A has 15 values. Data set B, you had 56. Which following compares the medians and the ranges correctly? Well, the range is a high minus a low. So if I added 56, the range is going to still be the same, right? I mean, each of these go up by 56. That'll be 78. That'll be 79. That'll be 80, 81, 82. Yeah. The median's still going to be, sorry, the range is still going to be the same. But the range is still the same, but the median is going to change. The median is a middle number when you rank them. If you have 15 numbers, I want the eighth number. Clearly 23 is the eighth number right now, but that's going to go up by 56. So the median will definitely be bigger, but the range will stay the same. And that's why it's C for that one. So a little bit of statistics that's going on there. Does that make sense how I got that? Yep. Okay. Good. Okay. For those who I know Colin, you've seen this, but Danny and Wyatt, have you guys done rational functions? Are you guys like graphing asymptotes?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, okay. So where do you think the vertical asymptote is right now?
-4.
Correct. So it means they have x plus 4 on the bottom. I'll put the letter A because I don't know what the constant is, but that's generally what we expect. But conceptually, what does this mean? X plus 4. How do I shift the graphs? If you have x plus 4, how we'll shift up, down, left, right.
Left 4.
Goes left 4, exactly. So now that's going to be at x equals -8. So it has to be x plus 8. And that's why it's C. So that's purely conceptual. I mean, you could try graphing Desmos, but you still need to know the transformation regardless. Okay, great opportunity to use Desmos here. What I want you guys to do is type this in like it looks and give me the x-intercepts. And you have 2 sliders. So I ask for a slider. Go and select all. And keep A and B both at 1. Tell me what your x-intercepts are.
-1 and negative 0.017.
That's kind of weird. Yeah, negative 0.017, right? Okay. So again, just to show you how that works, really simple. 57x raised to the second power plus 57BA plus AB. And actually there's a 0, so let me all. Yeah, so you get -1 and negative 0.01754. Now, let's read the question. The question is saying the product of the solutions. So you have 2 solutions, right? The product means multiply. If I multiply these, what do I get? 0.01754, right? And that equals KAB. Well, what do we let A and B equal in our sliders? 1 each. So what's K equal? 0.01754. Which of these 4 choices equals 0.01754? You could use your calculator to compute that. You'll get A. Definitely not C or D. B is like 0.2 something. So it's gonna be A. And that's how you can use Desmos to help you out. If you didn't have Desmos, you could have made up numbers for A and B and use quad form or factoring. That could have worked. Because remember, if A and B are both 1, you can get this then. And it actually does factor, believe it or not. You get 2 answers. And if you multiply that out, you get 1/57. And if the A and B be both 1, so you could do it algebraically too, but Desmos, I think, just provides a really nice resource. Okay, same thing. I want you guys to use Desmos. So you can get a circle, type in like the way it looks. You'll get a circle. I want you to find the endpoints and give me the coordinates of those endpoints and the difference in the y coordinates. If you do it this way, or if you do it horizontally, the difference in the x coordinates is going to be the diameter. Half of that, of course, will be the radius. So go and do that first. And tell me what you get for your endpoints of the diameter. I'll do it also. Okay. So you don't want the y-intercept because you want the the longest distance. So definitely I get 9.5 for one, but y by 10.5, negative 10.5 for the other. Good. So my diameter is what?
Like almost
20. What's my radius? 10. And that's how I do it. Now, as a math teacher, I'll show you the answer key. Looks kind of crazy. And as someone who's taught pre-calculus or conic sections, you got to complete the square. And you might remember this. You got to take half of the linear coefficient and square it. And then factor. And then you got to work that out, which I think is 200. Did I do that right? No, 100, my bad. And then r squared is 100, so r is 10. I mean, if you want, you can do that, but use Desmos again. Let's come back. That one's a little crazy. Okay. I'm gonna do this with you guys. So you want to intersect the x-axis how many times? Twice, right? And that's your vertex. So let's punch in 9 comma negative 14. Okay. And let's type in y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay. So we need sliders for all. Oh, crap. There we go. Okay. So it's not touching it, right? So we're gonna have to move things around. That probably doesn't help me. I'm getting a little warmer, so I might need to bump this up to like maybe 50, let's say. Maybe bump that down to like negative 20, let's say. You gotta play with it a little bit. Actually, I should have bumped that down to negative 50. Okay, that's a little better. It looks like it's more in the middle. Okay. I know it took a little while. I'm pretty close, I'd say at this point. So if I add these up, I should get like about definitely a positive number. Um, okay. I don't know if this is gonna work. So negative 2. I know how to do this problem, but Okay. Yeah, let me show you algebraic how to do this problem. I tried. Sorry, guys. Didn't quite work out the way I'd hoped. Let's do this. Let's plug in 9 for x and -14 for y. Sorry, I kind of tried. I wanted to try Desmos. I was a little too ambitious. Didn't work quite work out. Okay, so we get that. Then if you want to cross the x-axis twice, you want this to be positive. Right? Because that's the part underneath the quad form. And if your vertex is right here, clearly A is positive. Right? Because if the vertex is below the x-axis and it's crossing the x-axis twice, it has to be up. So clearly A is going to be positive. So let's say A is 1. In order for that to happen, B and C both have to both be negative. What if B were like, say, -9? So it counteracts the 81. Then C could be -14. Remember, A was 1, right? If I add all that up, I wind up getting -22. And imagine that B could probably be more negative, or C could probably be more negative. So I believe the answer should be A for that one. Because I don't think we can get close to -19, -14, -12. Given A has to be positive. Oh, it's D. Wait, what? Hold on. What did I do wrong? 81 A plus 9B plus C. Now I'm confused. Give me a sec. 9 -14. I said there's something wrong here. -14. B is -9. A is 1. I'm confused. Which one it could be? That was problem before. Suppose if I did B squared minus 4AC. Give me a sec here, guys. Hold on. I don't want to go to the solution key. That solution key seems crazy. A is 1. Because if A is a small fraction, let's not worry about it. And the other one, I don't want to do that. That's just a little too nuts. So let's do this. We'll go and stop going over this practice. We got about 10, 15 more minutes left. What I'd like to do is show you guys some of the other materials I've shared with you guys. and how to use those materials. So here. Yeah, actually, I'll go over here. So this one right here called challenging questions. These are a variety of topics. And it comes from that prep book I was telling you guys about. Anything that's considered level 1 or 2 is considered like first module questions. I have like the 1 or 2 next to it. 3 or 4 is considered harder questions. And you can see that there's one's on chapter on exponents and roots, one on quadratics, system of equations. I think it's about 10 pages here, no, 20 pages. Functions, lines. I think I did 2 pages per chapter here. Interpreting lines, exponential growth and decay, statistics, as I mentioned. Actually, I have a little more on that. Circles, which we saw earlier. So these are the questions I've seen my students tell me that they've had a little trouble with. I'm gonna try some right now, see how you guys do. Um, yeah, this is where you totally could use a slider. Um, some of these are good function problems also. Actually, I'm not sure you'll see a composite. Um, let's try those 2 there. Yeah. So we'll start with 40. So that's not really a Desmos. I would say just plug in 2 for x and 5 for p of x. Solve for b. Once you solve for b, we have your new equation. And then plug in -3 afterwards. What do you guys get for b?
I got -3.
Uh,
Or wait, no, I got 3.
yeah, b is 3. Mhm.
Yeah.
And then plug -3 into that equation. You should get 9 minus 6 minus 3, which I think should be 0. Yeah, so the answer should be b for that one. I'd say it's more of a medium level question. I don't think it's too hard, but good, excellent. Now let's try 44. That's why I'll use Desmos. So I'll do 3 comma 17, label it. And I graph y equals 2x squared minus 5x minus 4. And then you fortunately could move the slider to whatever value you see there, and the parabola should be touching that point. I mean, you can also plug in 3 and 17 solve for a too, just so you know. You could do, that's another way you could have done it as well. It's not that hard. But I'm just saying you could use Desmos to help you out. So go and solve that one. Tell me what you get. Mhm. Yeah, it looks like it'll be 2. Hooray. Yep. Okay. And you guys have answers to all these, access to all these answers. Um, yeah, let's try 56 and 57. Then we could wrap it up after that. So 56, you could just type in like the way it looks and tell me what x equals. You're looking for x-intercept again.
For the first one, I didn't like get an x-intercept.
Let's see. Let me try. So square roots. Type in square to get square roots equals 5 minus square root x.
Oh wait, never mind. I didn't read the thing wrong or right.
No worries, you're good. Yeah, so we get 9, which makes sense. Yep. And then plug 9 into this expression, √4, which of course is 2. Yep. Okay. And then we'll finish off at 57. So you're going to use a slider. And we're going to set equal to 0, by the way. So what do you get for your x-intercepts?
I got like 0 and -1.
Okay, let's see here. What do you let J and K equal?
Hmm?
What were J and K values?
Oh, I got 1.2 and 1. I don't know if I did that right.
Well, let's make them 1 and 1 like we did last time. See here. So we get -1 and -0.056. So if I multiply those out, the product would be 0.0556. And that equals JKY. And J and K are both 1, so Y equals that number. And that's the number we're going to report as our answer. Yeah, so whatever that is, we would report that. And if I look at the answer key, this is chapter 11. Yeah, and we get the answer right there. So but yeah, but these are like the the more challenging problems for sure. So yeah, so I think we're good for today. I think we did a lot of great work. So why and Dan, I know you're taking the test fairly soon. So I will shoot you guys an email by tomorrow with some times where we can do one more, just a one-on-one call, just to kind of like any questions you have. But you have materials now, obviously. I sent you guys that practice reading and writing stuff. I sent you guys some math, and also you have the Blue Book app as well. So definitely we'll check in, but I'll also give you guys some guidance, like what to do, like how to actually go about doing the work. Like, hey, to try these problems, try those problems, like, or a schedule you can follow, and then again, some dates and times I'm available. And you definitely should do a practice test for sure. 100%. I would strongly recommend that. Maybe next week it might be good to do that. Yeah, and then we'll just check in, and you guys will take it. So hopefully you guys got a lot out of it. Hopefully you guys see how Desmos can be very helpful. The reading and writing, the grammar, and I noticed that punctuation and transitions need some work. So also you guys some practice on that as well. But I think for the math, this one that we just looked at, and the strategies one, the other one, those are good ones to work through. I'd probably say work through these packets, work through the new one I'm going to send you on punctuation and transition words, then do a practice test, and then maybe we meet, talk about what needs to work, a little extra work, and then you take it. But I think that'd be the right approach, I would say, of how you want to move forward. Again, do some extra practice packets, practice tests, meets, and then take tests. And yeah, and then we'll check in afterwards, after you take tests, see how you felt about it. And yeah, wish you guys luck. And I know you guys are going back to school tomorrow, so break's over. So have a good first day back, and I'll be in touch by tomorrow by email.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right, have a great rest of the day.